Okay. Well, welcome everyone to an exciting and incredible and a super special Women's Empowerment Series episode. I have with me an incredible woman, and you can see it from her background, from the beauty around her, Kari McKelvy, connection from Hawaii. Welcome, Kari.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you. This is amazing. Well,
I am so excited. I feel like I am with you wherever you are. And, we usually don't plan them so late, but that's because we wanted to meet you up in the morning. It's 8 a.m. for you, isn't it?
yes,
8
it
a.m.
is
And
8
thank you for
a.m.
making it so early.
Oh,
And
thank you for
bringing us
accommodating. I don't
ah,
think I would be
and
very
bringing us the
talkative at five.
vibes. I feel like I am with you with all this green and all this beauty around you. Thank you for
Oh,
coming.
you're welcome. It's an honor to have you here. This is a very magical space.
It really is. And I can feel that. It's going to be exciting. We are live streaming on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. So if you're joining us, let us know where you're joining from. If you are watching us on replay, let us know. And this is going to be a delightful conversation. So, Carrie, tell me about you, about this beautiful life that you have, and how a female leader like you find herself in where you are.
When I was a young lady, one of my favorite quotes was actually more of a joke. It said that I left a note on my door and it said, I've gone to find myself. If I get back before I return, please inform me of my whereabouts.
Wow. How old
And
were
that's,
you when you wrote that?
I think 14.
Okay, so
So,
it was a funny joke for your parents. How did they
yeah,
react
it's
to that?
amusing, not sure, but it feels like it's been um, the journey of my lifetime trying to find myself. And in the last couple of years, I realized that, we've never lost ourselves. You can't lose yourself. Who you are is who you are at your core. All we've done is we've just wrapped ourselves in all of these images and personas and beliefs and behaviors and things to fit and things to cope. And we've never lost ourselves. We've just covered ourselves. And in all of my travels, I've come to think of it like a wet wool blanket. They keep you warm, but they're really suffocating and stinky. And like that's what all of these layers of false identity really are. So it's been a long journey. I started my academic career. I had wanted to be a physician, but I became a mother actually quite young. So I was a single teenage mom and
Okay, oh, wow.
decided to move into exercise science instead because I wanted
Mm,
to still work with people to find their health and their happiness, but I
mhm,
didn't want someone else raising my daughter for 8 years while I was in
mm,
school.
So you
So
decided different path. You
yeah, but
chose
it was amazing because it was like it still gave me the ability to tap into human performance and psychology and health and wellness and all of those things, but to
yes.
be a mom also.
Mm. And you grow so much by being a mom, mainly when you're young. It's just a different way of, like speed for learning and acceleration. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And my girls are 18 and 24 now. So
Hmm.
it's phenomenal to see the young women that
Uh-huh.
they have
They
grown
become.
into, just the
Uh,
unique personas that they are. So it feels like the motherhood is a huge part of becoming the woman that we are, right? Like who we are as a mother grows us who we are as a human. Um, my work path moved from the health and human performance into finance, high end construction, commercial real estate, like this
wow.
super, um, like those kinds of very
So you were
heavy.
in the traditional way of being. You really were there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did that very, very big scale. There weren't very many women in commercial real estate that did
That's right.
what I did, and
Mm.
definitely not in construction the way I was in construction and
Yeah, because it's very man
finance.
dominated. environment.
It
Absolutely.
is.
It is. Mm.
And my first husband actually passed away when I was 28, so I was doing all of that as a single mom with two little
Wow.
girls, and
Oh.
eventually I just imploded, and I couldn't handle living so inauthentically.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Retired from all of that and ran off again to go find myself.
Did you
So
take the
I'm
girls with you when you went? Did
We
you did?
traveled a lot. Yeah,
Wow.
we did travel a lot after their dad died. We couldn't leave the country um, for several years. So my oldest daughter didn't get to leave the country, but my youngest daughter did quite a bit. I ended up
Mhm.
reconnecting with an old love from actually my first love from when I was a 16-year-old girl is
Wow.
now my husband, and
That's
we've
like a
gone
movie
to
story.
like
Like, you're like a movie. Like, it's incredible. Okay.
try to condense it into a little book. I don't know. Movie would be
Yes,
fun.
I think you should, and maybe even a movie. I mean, like, so okay, so you reconnected, and then you continue on traveling the world, I understand,
Yep,
right?
we reconnected. He came to live with me in Northern California, this beautiful old Victorian looking house on the ocean and this little
Mm.
tiny quaint village. And um, we kind of ejected from society after about a year. We ended up traveling, one-way tickets to Tahiti with my daughter was 14 at the time, and we just took off to go find our new spot.
Uh-huh.
Fell in love with sailing,
Yeah.
didn't know how to sail, but we fell in love with the idea of sailing. So we
Okay.
wrote an offer on a boat and
Uh-huh.
then went to Spain to learn how to sail.
Oh, nice. So, and how do you go from Tahiti to Spain? Not with a boat.
That was where the sailing class was that could get us in fast enough that we would not be completely, like, totally unsafe by the time we took possession of the boat. It was,
Excellent.
like, the first
Excellent.
place we could
That's
go.
fascinating. But you know what? You're talking about the word as it's like, it's like a sphere and you're like covering it completely. It's like, okay, I was here. Let's turn it the other way. Let's go the other way.
Yep,
And
I
I
think
love
when
that.
we did circumnavigate the earth in 2 weeks one time by air, just with all the countries we flew to, it's just been wild. I
It
mean,
feels
but
like
that's
that.
the thing, it's like
It is.
traveling, losing the structure if you can afford to do so, and just
Yes,
going out to find the things you love, feel what it's like to be a human, like what it's like to live in the world, to meet people from other countries, do
absolutely.
things that lights your soul on fire, like what makes you happy. Um,
I
that's
can
kind of what
relate.
the journey's all about.
And I agree so much. I was at the World Bank. My first job was at the World Bank. And I spent 8 years. And all what I did was each time choose a department that is so far away so I can go to Southeast Asia, to Latin America. So I hear you so much. So I spent 8 years traveling the world in reality, working. But the fact is, I was fascinated by discovering cultures.
Mhm. So what did you learn while you were traveling? What's the thing that you took away even now that you're like, I remember that?
Oh my God. You know what I took away is that the importance of the work we do matters only when you know the impact on the people. And when you see someone smiling because you brought the water, the infrastructure, the education system, anything you do, it makes a whole difference completely. And this I would have never been able to touch it, to feel it, to understand it as much as I did because I went to the remote areas in Vietnam, in Laos, in, it's like in Salvador, in Brazil, in just those faraway places. Yeah.
Oh, I just have tingles. That's so true. I mean,
It's
it's not.
true.
I hear there's so many quotes just like bouncing around in my head, but that's thank you, Tammy. It's the impact that we have in the world. It's like something that a lot of people talk about, creating wealth and leaving a legacy, and that's never set well with me because I don't see the point in leaving a legacy if you're not living it.
That's
So I
true.
like to say like our my soul anyway, my heart feels more motivated by living the legacy, living a life that matters, that has an impact, whether it's with people in like coaching type business that I do now, or the
Mm.
travel. We taught my youngest daughter, she went and traveled without us a couple weeks every summer from when she was 12 years old, and she, a lot of her friends were just going on these trips where they were basically traveling in tourists, and she was never allowed to do that. Every trip she took had a service basis to it. So she was either kind of doing the sister city thing with a school in Japan,
Yeah,
or she was
that's nice.
planting grass and feeding elephants and teaching English in
Oh,
villages,
wow.
or building water systems and
Yeah,
planting coral nurseries.
there
It's
we
like
go.
she was
No, yeah.
everywhere she went. Like she
Yes.
was giving back. And we
Yes.
traveled to Saipan after a cyclone, as they call it, a typhoon there.
Wow.
We brought school supplies and gifts and sports equipment and art supplies for 100 kids that were living in FEMA tents. And it's like
Mhm.
whenever we travel, we like to do something that contributes to the community where we are spending
You
our time,
yeah.
instead of just being what I call a global tourist.
Global, but how, like, what are the type of things you would do, when you go? Just one
Yeah,
example,
just
let's say.
connecting with the families. I mean, like
Yeah, yeah.
the drive that we did for the kids in Saipan, that was really that was the most impactful thing I'd ever done, because there was the Red Cross there, and FEMA and all those things that they were doing, but there's just so much money with a lot of those organizations that goes not to the people that are actually hurting. My husband was working there on disaster recovery, so we self-funded the trip, and everything that we did went straight to those kids. And we borrowed an SUV from a man that was a teacher there, and we literally drove around the island looking for FEMA tents, and we would
Wow.
just get out and hang out with the kids, and play soccer with them with the balls that we brought. And
Mm.
I mean, just being there, like, hey, your world is freaking upside down right now, but there's still joy. And
There
it's
is
like we
exactly.
can,
I resonate so much with me as well because, when you work on a mission, which is creating a world free of poverty, a world for development, and I know this is the beginning of my career. It was really about that, for 10 years, and I think what matters at the end is the smile in people's face, and when you just one, it just covers up everything.
yeah,
And
I mean, just playing with the kids. It just,
playing with the kids, yeah. Yeah. It is. It's incredible. It's incredible. This past whole month, I have a daughter who's 6 years old, and there is one song that she sings every like day and night, which is "Heal the World." It's like "Heal the World," right? "Heal the World" by Michael Jackson. Yeah, which is really
oh,
what we are talking about, isn't it? We are embodying in this
yeah,
conversation that
yeah,
every person can do that by impacting one child,
yeah,
bringing a smile, playing, like whatever it is, something, a game with a child. And that's what we want.
yeah,
This is how we heal the world, how we heal for the next generation. So it's for you, it's for me, and for all of us.
yeah.
And
And for us, women that have been in the personal development industry for a while, it's like this work that we are doing
yeah,
inside of us, this deep dive that we're doing, the unraveling, the releasing the residue traumas, the releasing the belief systems that didn't serve us, like all this work that we're doing is allowing us to be women that don't unintentionally wound our children the way we may have unintentionally been wounded. So it's like not only are we out there able to serve in the world, but we're able to just change the paradigm of parenting. And hopefully,
yes,
with the teachers, it's like it's the true grassroots is changing the experience that the kids have. Is like I dream of a world that, instead of all this work that we're doing in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, trying to heal from our first 30 years, what if these kids didn't have to experience that, because we are so healed that they're
yes,
not going through these kinds of things that create this identity fracturing and misunderstanding of self. It's like, what happens if we can teach them to just be their authentic selves, to be
yeah.
courageous, to be just like this pure, abundant, authentic person from the get go?
Yes, it's like breaking the pattern and creating a new way of feeling, of being, for feeling
Yeah,
peace, calmness. Nothing to worry about, nothing to be stressed about. Ah,
yeah,
but we can, right? Because if each
yeah,
one has take that voice and speak it out, we could change it through our kids, our children, friends of our children, and all the children we meet
yeah,
on the way. Yeah.
absolutely.
You know,
We're just changing the world all over.
absolutely. I have the beautiful comment by Tammy: serving helps other, but it is great for us. Absolutely.
Yeah. I
How
mean, it
can
really is. It's like a service to the world soothes your soul. It's what's the purpose of all of this if we're acting in isolation and just for self-serving, just for meeting our own
Mm,
perceived needs if we're not contributing? Like humans aren't meant to live alone. We're meant to be in community. It's like
mhm,
there's so many studies about isolation and loneliness being like worse than smoking a pack a day. So if we're going to be in community, why not really be in community? Like contribute globally, not just in our little home circles, but
mm,
everywhere you go.
everywhere you go. And you do that. Tell us more about the work you do and how you are making such a great difference through your beautiful place where you are.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, in our travels, when we first left, bought the boat, we were living aboard in Fiji, and I was just not just. I mean, it's a big thing. I was doing a lot of one-on-one coaching and mentorship, just really teaching people how to find your happiness, find your power, get grounded in your own sense of presence to navigate your life, like to be your own authority. And with the sailing analogies, it's like your North Star is like Polaris, that's our guiding light, but to find that you are your guiding light, to learn to trust your own inner wisdom. So that was a lot of the work that I was doing, and I still do, is the one-on-one mentorship with people. I'm starting to expand a little bit more into some somatic experiences, like the one that you mentioned on your introduction. The post
Mm.
that you'd made, the Polaris Experience, is something that I put
Yes, yes.
together that
Tell us about it. What does it mean for somebody who doesn't understand? What does
so
Polaris
that
mean?
one is like I've come to a place in my life. I'm 43 years old now, and I have done so many things. Like a wildly intellectual child. I took in the U.S. We have the SATs. I think is the
Yes.
Scholastic Aptitude Test. I took my SATs for the first time when I was 12.
Wow,
Like most people take that, to get ready for college. And like
that's
I
great.
used to hang out in law libraries and read state statutes when I was like
You were like
13 after
you're
school.
like
Like,
a genius, high IQ.
yeah, my nickname was Lab Coat for the longest time. Like, I just, doctor would have
Really?
been great, but I wouldn't have been able to have the personal interaction with people and
Mm,
the experience of being able to guide people hand to hand through a journey instead of a crisis.
yes,
So
your
I,
mission is bigger, much bigger.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, like, super intellectual aspect, super musical. I heard you say something on another interview about music as math, and I taught myself to play the piano when I was 6. So it's like, little
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it is.
mathematician,
It is.
musician, like intellectual, and
True.
then there's just like this artistic, theatrical, doing theater in high school and early college years, and just like traveling, following Pearl Jam for any 90s babies, saw them live like 17 times, rock groupie, and like
Yes.
all.
The 90s was fun. It was a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. And then early 80s where you were really young at that time, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah,
So
it's like
80s, I was baby baby,
Madonna,
but
Whitney
the
Houston.
90s music, like I was original grunge baby and lived in the Portland area, and grunge was being born in Portland and
Yes.
Seattle, and it was like this all was a really big part of my life. And then with this personal development work that I've
Uh-huh.
been doing on my own journey, which has been a whole nother thing with chronic
Okay.
illness and lots
Mm,
of trauma and tragedy, just like working through my own healing physically and emotionally, I came upon somatic breath work. So, like that deep, connected, conscious breathing, and it was profound for me. So, I started using that with my own clients in some of our coaching sessions to just open up and deepen their experience and allow them to somatically release things that we'd already processed cognitively and emotionally, but they were still
mm,
kind of running the show. And then I
mm.
just had this idea. It's like, what if I could take everything I love and put it together? Like, how could I do that? So what I did with the Polaris Experience is it created this soundscape. The whole thing is a musical arc that's meant to take you on a journey. It's filled
Beautiful.
with spoken word, channeling if you're into the spiritual woo-woo
Yeah.
space, poetry,
Nice.
subconscious suggestions, so quiet moments of hypnosis once you're moving into a theta state through the
Okay.
experience. The whole thing takes about 90 minutes
Oh.
to go through,
Mhm.
but the whole thing was crafted with everything, just the thematic, very theatrical elements of sound and performance and healing, both guided by me and by you, just to basically bring you home to your North Star, to your
Wow. So it's
Polaris.
live, actually. It's an experience that is live, and you recreate that every time. And what's
Hmm.
the story about having it aligned with some lunar or astrological timing?
I
Could you
have been doing them in conjunction with the new moon, so I am
the
doing
new
another one
uh,
tomorrow.
okay. Yes, the
And the
18th.
reason for that is because the full moon, as I understand, is like the time for closure and releasing. The new moon is the time for rebirthing.
First
And
start.
in the process of conscious coaching, when you're talking with somebody, when you're doing, whether it's like speaking with a therapist or speaking with a coach, it takes a lot longer for us to move through things.
Mhm.
We have to process what's going on, think through the changes, decide on a different direction, and begin to implement them. But when you go through a deep somatic release process, the person that wakes up is the person that's it's a different person
Mm,
than the one that closed their eyes. So the
mm,
reason I've been aligning it with the new moon is to have that supportive energy of new beginnings. So when you come back into your body after being in that theta state, which is very
mhm.
close to a hypnotic state, it's like you have an opportunity to be reborn in that moment.
Love it. Yeah, and then you start something new. The new moon
Mhm.
is all the start. Yeah,
Yes.
love that. So whoever is watching us and would like to attend, how can they join the
I
Polaris
yeah,
experience? Yes,
it's Polaris. You
Polaris.
can contact me through my Facebook page. I haven't put together like the links to make it super easy to join us, but
That's okay.
I
I have
I can put a link in your comments however you do that,
Yeah,
whatever's
and
best in
I
the
have it
Facebook group.
also in the description of the conversation today. You can find how to meet Kari, and it's your Facebook a link, so they can find you this way. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
that's the best part, and that's the one thing that I haven't built in my own business. That's my own new beginning, is to move into the technology and automations and making it
She'll be
easier to work
like
with
this.
more
If you
people.
took the SAT at 12, still there, you're gonna use that brain and you do it in this, like in no time.
Yep, I'll get it all done. It'll be good. But it's beautiful to have that deep somatic release available. And I'm finding that it's also shortening the time that people need to spend with me in a coaching relationship, which I love. Since I very first went back into coaching, like I started coaching in the 90s, I've been doing it for
Oh, really? So that
25
long ago?
years.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, my first coaching certification was actually in 2006. So it
You
like
were,
before
yeah,
people even knew this was a
thought
thing.
about it. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So now that I'm back in the coaching, I've had clients that have stayed with me for 2, 3 years, what I love.
Mhm.
But I always say in the beginning, it's like my goal is for you to not need me. Like that is
Mhm.
how I will know that we have
To
succeeded, that
empower them so
you're
that they
good.
yeah,
Like,
because you empower them, right? This is
yep,
this is the role of a coach, of a mentor. You walk with them and then you just let them be. Yeah.
yep, exactly. So this expansive experience, this Polaris experience has a it's really shortened that time. It's condensed it so
Mhm.
that people can go through the conscious coaching process, have this somatic release experience, tap into their inner knowing. It moves them faster. Then they can go integrate that, talk through the things that have come up, do it again. And we're looking at 3 to 6 months instead of 3 years to
Mm,
have these just massive transformations where you can go out and create a life that totally lights you up.
that's beautiful. When you say somatic, is it more in the breathing connection, or is that what it is? Yeah.
Yep, it's in the breathing. I have Lyme's disease, and I've been battling chronic illness that I actually picked up some other really well, it's rare in the United States. It's not rare in Europe. Brucellosis is another infectious disease. They're all zoonotic infectious diseases that I picked up while traveling.
I'm sorry.
Um, and my battle has been almost 10 years long with just like
Oh,
in and out of really intense medical treatments. And I've actually studied all kinds of things. So I've dove deep down the hole into shamanic practices.
yes.
I studied Reiki. I'm a Reiki master as well. I've done a lot of deep work with
So a
Joe
lot of
Dispenza.
energetics. Mm,
hmm So one
mm,
of the things that you don't have to do anything is like while I'm facilitating, the whole thing is also actually an energy healing session.
of course, of course.
So all the things.
Yes, I can feel that. I can feel it. I mean, the intensity of this and the fact that you're so connected with nature that even rise up this vibration so much higher. And
hmm Yeah. So
So
for you, the somatic work that you're doing, that deep breath work is what is physically releasing stored energy. That
mhm,
theta state that you're reaching by changing your oxygen levels in your blood, that is what's allowing you to basically tap into the subconscious. So those are the two elements that you're doing as a participant. The rest
mm,
of it, I'm holding for you.
nice. Okay, so you just sit there and you let yourself be guided, and
Yes.
you just, and if it's not, if you're not even aware, you're like, just your subconscious mind will flow, because
Yep.
we always think, can we stay focused for this much 90 minutes, or
Yes.
we'll be thinking about what is in the
Oh
kitchen,
no,
what
not
is
at
in
all.
the bathroom.
I
It's true,
when
because
it
these are normal questions. That's what
No,
people
it's
will.
absolutely true. I have a really hard time staying focused, and one of the things that I found is by creating such a theatrical experience in it, if
Mhm.
I'm to sit there and meditate, like, good God, 10 minutes maybe. I
Yeah.
can't do it. Participating with Dr. Joe at one of his intensives, like, we were in for 5 hours and it felt like 2. Like, it was totally different having that space held
Mm.
and the music and the air temperature, and obviously on our sessions or on Zoom, I'm not modulating the physical environment, but
Mm.
having all of these other things going on, you're
Mhm.
immersed in an experience. It's like going to a movie, the
I love
screen
that.
is so huge, you're
Yeah,
not
and you
thinking
don't.
about the grocery list until the
Exactly.
credits
It
roll.
Absolutely, and you think about nothing until the movie is over. It's like, "Oh, already? We want some
Yep.
more." Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true.
So after the first one that I held, I had people just amazing, amazing messages in my inbox. Like, I have never done this that long before. And just the stories, the things people were sharing with me that had changed for them, it was remarkable. There's things they've been carrying for decades that they didn't even realize. And the way
Right.
I've been trying to explain this type of work for people is like, your life force, we could compare it to water. Water is H2O. It's three molecules. You put those three together, they're a little round bead. They're totally smooth. Like, if you put them together, they lay flat. They're like, water itself is such a soft element, but
Mm.
you can die in a raging river in a class 5 rapid. Why is that? It's not the water.
No.
It's the bedrock. It's the bottom of the river. It's what's going on. And I used to be a whitewater rescue technician, and throw that out there as well, in whitewater rafting. And what's going on beneath the surface, the
It's what
positioning of the
hurts you.
rocks, the
Yeah,
wood that's stuck, like, that's what's
yeah,
creating this tumultuous nature of the
and
water. That's what's
dangerous
making it
environment.
rage. So what
Mm.
we're doing by doing the conscious work and then adding this deep somatic release is we're smoothing out your riverbed,
Yeah, and
and
you
then
take
your
it out
life
everything that
force
is rough.
will flow. Yeah.
Ah, I like that. It's a beautiful image, you know? That's really nice. And there is nothing, I think water is probably the best representation of what's energetic flow means, and how you
Yeah.
can, imagine it.
Yeah.
Uh, imagine something that doesn't exist, something that you can just trust is there.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Congratulations
It's
for the
so
incredible
powerful.
talent you have,
Oh,
and the
thank
work you do,
you.
and this beautiful energy that like, I can feel it all the way from Hawaii reaching out to me. It's true.
Oh, thank you. I just want to give you a hug.
I know this, and they're incredible, and that's the feeling. It feels this way, and we have incredible women watching us as well, and I know they feel this way as well. It just feels so relaxing, and I know that this is your journey, and your mission is to really spread
Yeah.
that into the world. Mm.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most important thing. And just like, kind of parting words, 'cause I know we're coming close to our time, is like, when you think about the concept of light and dark and duality, and all of the different things that we have to hold through our life, just like, deep grief can coexist with gratitude of immense measures. Like, we can have intense pain and simultaneously be experiencing deep pleasure. And there's so many different things, but a lot of times we get stuck in the darkness with whatever, tragedy, trauma, illness, death, loss, bankruptcy. Like, there's just all these things that can be so difficult and feel like really dark times. But you're the light. It's like, you are your own guiding light, and the darkness can't turn off a light. Like,
Never.
if you are a light and you walk into a room and you turn on the light, the shadows disappear, but the shadow can never come in and turn off the light.
Never.
So the whole process is like,
So true. I
turn
love
it
that.
on.
So true.
Yeah.
So, and this is a beautiful message to everyone. So, it's like you are the light, use it to
Yeah.
shine. What would you like to share before we close
Yeah.
today?
Keep going.
Keep
For
going.
whoever needs to hear it, keep going. You are braver than you know. You are stronger than I hope you will ever have to find out. You can do so much. And the greatest gift you can ever give yourself or anyone else in the world is the fullest expression of who you are.
Yes.
Go
This
be
is
you.
go be you. Yes, I love that. Oh, yes. Go be you, as Kari McKelvy said. You are incredible. This has been a beautiful conversation, a beautiful discussion. Thank you for bringing your beauty, your elegance, your mind, and your energy to this woman
Thank you
power.
so much. It's been a pleasure. It's really my honor.
Thank you, everybody. Sending all the love. Bye bye, everyone.
Take care.
Take care.